Hey, we got a whole bunch of bangers throughout this flip, including these new arrivals, newer releases. This just came out, Media Una Sera Cena, Think About a Night at Dinner, the Maestro Morricone. This is limited edition, yellow vinyl, 1969. There's the dinner. And if you are at all into the luxurious sound and easy tempo stuff, you will definitely know the title track. You've heard it, it's beautiful and amazing. This is Tutto Delizio. Quattro Mosche di Veluto Grigio, the 1971, 2 years later, Dario Argento Giallo film. Pretty cool stuff, for Flies in Gray Velvet, and I know that Morricone got very upset with Argento for including a few tracks on the soundtrack, so they parted ways. Goblin came into the Argento camp, and then Morricone expanded all over, and they didn't work together again for over 20 years. Scacco alla Regina, Check to the Queen, Piero Piccioni's classic with Edda dell'orso on vocals, and of course her voice is so commandeering and beautiful. It's so essential to this sound, and so if you're totally into that stuff, you need to get that and check it out. Got some Queen. I got Betty Davis in the house by way of Miles, some pre-punk funk blues stuff. We've got a lot of her stuff, and if you're into this, come on out and get one of these records and ask us. I know we got some swag too. We got some cool Betty Davis posters, and we got a lot more Christmas stuff coming, including this classic from the Supremes, and Paul Revere and the Raiders, Garage Psych of the 60s. This is a mono copy, and it's sealed, and apparently the complete lyrics are definitely indeed in there. I know they do a great vocal version of Greensleeves on this one, and some other cool ones. Wear a Smile at Christmas opens it up, and Brotherly Love, Macy's Window, and more. And some of these are just cool for the covers, but we're definitely stocking up on there. And Tectacaco Mamia Love Trip, recently reissued, limited edition on clear pink vinyl. It was actually a super flop in '82, so bad that this was the only thing she did, and she disappeared. No one knew until recently what happened to her. She got married, but Takako's son out there, we just salute you. This is incredible stuff. It's considered a city pop classic, 10-10 on the Shibuya Kai scale, and it's heavy on the funk, I would say, but it is definitely a good one. Stutter Steps, some indie stuff from Pittsburgh. It's a 12-inch, kind of obscure, about half a decade, 5 years old. Point Blank, this is sealed, and in '76, this Southern Rock was on special, but we've got it for you here in Platform. Holly Herndon, this is nice on 4AD. And this came out, I believe, in the mid-20-teens. Experimental techno stuff, 2LP, kind of hefty. And Field Report, so named because the singer-songwriter's name is Porterfield. But there's a lot of interesting stuff on here, kind of folky. And Kiowa, American Indians from Oklahoma, field recordings, all those high-end recordings on Folkways. This is the Ethnics Folkways Library, ultrasonically cleaned. Crowded House, limited edition colored vinyl from 2021. It's sealed. That's a good one. Hey, we got some sealed Bob Dylan too. John Wesley Harding. These are reissues that came out a few years ago from the Dylan Definitive Collection, including this one here too. Soundtrack to Pat Barrett and Billy the Kid. And this is an old one from the late 80s, Hearts of Fire. And it's interesting because it stars also not Fiona Apple, Fiona Flanagan, who was known actually just for this record more or less and her performance here, and Lisette Alvarez from '89, some cool Latin pop, and I know there's a good cover or two on here as well as a lot of good original stuff. And the Swashbuckling Doctors, some ska punk. It's pretty scarce, half a decade old, and this one also from that same time. You've never heard of them. Didi Moto, The Price is definitely right. It is hard rock, and hard indeed, emphasis on the hard, but it's unknown stuff. If you're into checking out new indie hard rock bands, that's it. And this one looks like a private press from about 1974 or 75 by a piano player in Willowick who did the clubs, and that's by design. This is actually Sven Wonder, and we've celebrated him and encouraged people to get his stuff since the beginning, and it's been a pretty good investment for people. This is on his Piano label, probably his breakout album now. There's even a Japanese press edition, and it's all over the place. It's Luxuria in the Morton Gould and Andre Castellanet's vein for cocktails, intervallic nocturnal new jazz, in a gin piano bubble bath of radiant Nautilus rainbow fanfare, choral charcuterie, and orchestral all-embracing ring finger sophistication. Really good stuff. He's also touched on Exotica before, but this is definitely almost like Ferranti and Teicher's Wintertime Snowbound record. Lush and lovely in that vein. And some comedy stuff from the mid-70s, I believe 76, Peter Cook and more. If you're into these names, this is definitely one that'll keep you chuckling. And Pseudo Echo, their debut from 84, some synth pop. It's a promo copy. And Mellerman, Somewhere Someday, interesting ambient stuff from a good half-decade back. And finally, Jiro Inagaki, the great Japanese sax maestro. If you look through his massive discography, all those records are definitely to put on the want list. And for his 90th birthday, there's a gold vinyl edition of this heavy jazz funk stuff. So, Tanjumi Omedetou gozaimasu, Jiro-san, and definitely the rest of us here appreciate this stuff. It's urban taxi funk detective jazz. And if you just play any of these tracks at all, indeed, if you're into the jazz funk thing and that late night jamming well in a car kind of vibe, this will keep you comfy. And all this and more Saturday for pickup, 11 to 6, as well as online, then Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Come on out.